Today on Commander Replay, we're back with Games 2 and 3 of Aurelia Weapons of War, Theros Beyond Death updates. Next on Commander Replay. I want to thank my awesome Patreon supporters. We have one new Patreon supporter in Ryan Ward. Ryan, you are awesome. If you want to help support the channel and vote on which decks I play next, feel free to check out my Patreon at the link below. And be sure to use the TCG affiliate player link as it helps support the channel and it doesn't cost you anything. Welcome back, everyone. Playing some Aurelia the War Leader today. This opening hand, a little bit frustrating because I've been really trying to test Backdraft Hellkite, and I just have not been drawing it. In this case, we have 2 lands. It's not good. We're going to mulligan that. All right, we've got more land. We got a little ramp in this Inspiring Statuary. We've got a Sigarda's Aid and Open the Armory. I think I like this a lot better. Let's keep this. We are going last in the turn order. Not amazing. Scry Temple for opponent. They'll get to Scry one time. Ooh, in a Chrome Box. Preordain. Soul Ring for opponent. Not what you want to see when you're last in the turn order. Ooh, against an Athreos. We draw a Plateau. Plateau is good. Play the Plateau. Play the Sigarda's Aid. Pass the turn. Pretty tough call right here between Mask of Memory and Sword of the Animist. Let's take a look at what our opponents are playing, and maybe that'll help us in our equipment decisions. We've got Anax Hardened in the Forge is 1 red for an 0/3. Its power is equal to your devotion to red. When it or another non-token creature you control dies, create a 1/1 red Satyr creature token with this creature can't block. If the creature had power 4 or greater, create 2 of those instead. So it looks like it's going to be a mono red token-y kind of thing. What I'm kind of expecting out of that. Ooh. Next up, we have Bright New Era piloting Shu-Yun the Silent Tempest, and they've got a Mother of Ruins and a Swiftfoot Boots. Do a lot of stuff with that. It's a lot of protection for Shu-Yun. And then finally, we've got Tyrant of Ruin piloting Athreos Shroud Veiled, one that we saw the other day on the channel. This thing can grind out value late super well, so gotta be careful of that. They do have a Ghostly Prison up. That's the anti-Aurelia card. A little bit annoying for us, but we'll make do. Brings it back to our turn. I am going to play, what are we on? We're on turn 2. Wow, feels like everyone has way more mana than we do. It's not great. It's not great. There's a Stone Hero Giant. If we can, like, keep a Stone Hero Giant alive, that's pretty good. Play the Command Tower. Play the Open the Armory. Think I'm just on Mask of Memory right now. Hand's feeling a little thin. Here comes Anax into play. Yep, it's a 2/3. Divining Top into play. Here comes Shu-Yun. Yup. No mana for the boots, but is protected by the Mother of Ruins. Also going to be bad for blocking. Gotta hope they don't have the combination of one-hit spells really soon. There's an Omnixilus Reignited. That can destroy stuff. Problem is the Mother of Ruins. So opponent's just going to go for the draw a card and lose a life, yeah. That'll bring it back to our turn. We draw Plains. Let's play the Plains. There could be wheels. There could be wheels. Play the Sacred Foundry. Untapped. And play the Inspiring Statuary. So I'm trying this out over Worn Power Stone. I've used Inspiring Statuary once or twice in the past. It's okay. It's a little awkward because it doesn't do 2 things. It doesn't help you cast artifact spells, and it doesn't help you equip artifacts. And both of those are things that this deck does. So, you know, a little concern there. However, in the late game, like if you have to recast Aurelia and you have a bunch of equipments in play, now you're getting like 2, 3, 4, 5, you know, however much mana off of all of your artifacts in play, and that's a pretty good place to be. So, you know, it's a little bit of a give and take. Worn Power Stone has a very kind of measured result to it, where Inspiring Statuary, it's going to vary a little bit more, but has a higher upside. Ooh, that's a Sword of Sinew and Steel. An opponent has all kinds of mana to get that equipped and start hitting into things. So, Sinew and Steel, and can kill the Obnixilis. Hope they don't go for our Inspiring Statuary. It's going to be a miserable game if they do. Swinging into us. Yep, no blocks. Sinew and Steel trigger. Come on, not our stuff. Yeah, goes for the Swiftfoot Boots. Sweet. Yeah, Swiftfoot Boots are problematic and also going to hit the Obnixilis. I talked about it, I don't know what, middle of last year, sort of Sinew and Steel. I still think it's a very underrated equipment. I kind of wish it was in this deck. This deck is just so unbelievably tight on deck slots. It is really hard to get anything in. Opponent lays down a Bloodthirsty Blade and gonna equip it. Ooh, to the Shu-Yun. That's bad. That is bad. Why is Shu-Yun a 5/2 right now? Oh, it gets 2-0 from the Bloodthirsty Blade. That's why. And opponent's going to lay down a Sunforger. No big deal. That card won't win the game or anything. Prowess will trigger. Yeah, if this deck is short on anything right now, it's going to be things like board wipes. And, you know, it's got some removal, but it's not crazy removal heavy like it used to be. The Angels deck really has a lot of removal because you really want to start the game with a board wipe with that deck and then start casting your stuff, but here comes Shu Yun in for 6. Yep. Thinking about maybe adding like a Core Haven to this deck. Core Haven and Thaumatic Compass, I think, might be cards that need to go in. One thing that I've noticed, this deck, it's not amazing at protecting itself from like other creatures and could definitely use a little help in that department. But you do have to be careful about your colored mana also. And I've really cut back on the amount of utility lands that I use in the deck and really just gone for the ones that like you really, really need. Like Homeward Path is a really big deal. If Aurelia gets stolen, you like basically can't win. Opponent caster commander, that's an Athreos into play, and they're gonna go to the end step, put a coin counter on the Dockside Extortionist. Ooh, I would love a Dockside Extortionist. That's a card I have not added to this deck yet, and I have to do that. Don't know where I'm gonna find that room, because there's a Bloodstained Mire. We have both of our dual lands in play, I guess. Let's play the Plains then. Try to get the Plains count up for Ameria. Start thinking about that. Yeah, I guess we just cast the Stonekeeper Giant. Yeah, how do we deal with Shu Yun? Probably our own Sunforger. Unless someone wants to lay down a board wipe. But, I don't know. Anax is in a position where that doesn't seem... There's a Skyfire Phoenix for opponent. Oh, nice. Opponent going to swing into Athreos with the Anax. For a second, I thought they didn't have the mana, but they had a treasure token laying around plus an artifact, so... Gonna get themselves another Sinew and Steel trigger, and that's gonna be pretty good to get rid of this Sunforger. So there's the thing. Never ever cast your Sunforger without being able to activate it. Treat it like an 8-mana card. Maybe less if you can free equip it somehow, but, you know, you get the idea. Don't just run it out there unprotected. It's a card that can win you the game, and if you don't protect it, people will blow it up. Sinew and Steel triggers. Going after the Sunforger. Yeah, Sinew and Steel putting in work. Man, maybe I need to put that in this deck, because that is a great way to, you know, if we had one, start trimming back some of these mana rocks, especially we have Double Strike. Yeah. Gonna have to be some removal at some point in this game. Things are escalating. There's a Faithless Looting. That's going to trigger Shu Yun. One of discards Artful Dodge and Maximum Altitude. Leaves the mana up to swing into Athreos. That's cool. Ghostly Prison putting in some work right here. Athreos passes with all their mana open. Can't say I love that. What's getting the coin counter? Probably our Giant? Yep, our Giant. Well, it's going to give us good incentive to keep the Giant alive. We untap. There's a Stoneforge Mystic. Play the... What are we playing? Play the Homeward Path. In case a wheel happens. So the play that I want to make, let's see. We could go for... We could cast Aurelia, but we're better off activating the Giant and doing stuff with the Giant right here. So we could use this, put a Helm of the Host on the Giant. However, if opponent has removal... that looks bad. Oh, the choices. I think I'm going to go to combat. I'm going to play it really chill right here. I think I'm going to slow roll a Sunforger. I don't know if Tyrant has removal or not. Actually, there's one good way to find out. Send the Giant over to Tyrant. Pay the 2. He does, in fact, have removal. It's a route. Okay. Okay. I think this is all going to work out. Activate. Oh, no. Hammer of Nazan's in our hand, and the 2 to... We're not going to have enough for Sunforger. All right. What are we getting then? Wow. Can't believe I misplayed that. Anything that gives indestructible. Yeah, and that's where, like, Worn Power Stone would be better, because we could use the Worn Power Stone to pay for that, but we can't use the Inspiring Statuary. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it's a matter of needing both, but what do we need to get rid of? All the creatures are going to get blowed up. Opponent's going to get a Dockside Extortionist and our Giant. We can cast Stoneforge Mystic for 1. It'll be 3 to equip the Sunforger. Yeah, I think it's just got to be Sunforger. I know we're putting it down there unprotected, but a bunch of removal's already been used. Oh, we were even going to have the double equip on Sunforger. She could have did that so much differently. Yep. It's frustrating. So, Anax will get a bunch of triggers. Oh, we messed that up. So, Anax gets some creatures, which can then carry the Sinew and Steel, which is just going to completely eat our Sunforger right here. Oof. Things not going our way, man. Yeah, I got to remember to add Dockside to the deck. Dockside is a ridiculous card. But who knows, maybe this will force someone else into a board wipe. That would be ideal. Shuyun probably not going to have one. The red deck might, though. Sinew and Steel onto a Satyr, sure. Gonna swing into the Shuyun opponent. Sinew and Steel trigger. Maybe I just gotta add Mox Opal to the deck. The price is coming down. Last I looked, about $70, give or take. Getting closer to the realm of affordable, or at least, you know, I could try to trade some big card into it. Love to see it keep going down, though. Opponent lays down a Wheel of Fortune while I was busy making jokes. Hey, you wanna know what Homeward Path does? It gets our giant back. That's gonna be crazy. And that's why we run Homeward Path. It's also why we made the plays that we made, because I was, you know, wheels do happen. Did lose some cool stuff, but picked up a couple things along the way. Got some lands. Aggravated Assault's pretty cool. Just got to find that Sun Titan or that Savines to get our Stoneforge Mystic and find the Feast and Famine. Unfortunately, the card that I wanted to put on Stoneheward Giant is the Helm of the Host, which is in our hand. It's a little awkward. Prefer it wasn't there. What did opponent discard? They discarded Ashen Rider. That's a good one. Soul Ring got blown up, and they just had a bunch of lands. Their hand probably got stronger. Here comes Kaya's Guile. Exile the graveyards. Graveyards down. Eeh. Eeh. Opponent makes a Spirit. Might be on Fire and Ice right now just to get card draw. There's a Bitter Blossom for opponent. Oh, you want to? Oh, we don't have to pay the equip cost on Helm of the Host. We do have Sigarda's Aid. That's a thing to think about. Yeah, see, again, the Inspiring Statuary still being a little bit awkward for us. Oh, or we just get Feast and Famine and cast this Aggravated Assault. I think we have a winner. Opponent said they're going to miss that Phoenix. Opponent doing some attacking. Opponent can put another coin counter on the Stonehewer Giant. We can exile Athreos right here. I think I'm just going to do that. It's a mana-efficient play. Why not? Exile Athreos. I'm expecting that I'm going to win on as soon as it comes back to our turn, so just in case that doesn't happen, kill that Athreos. Make opponent have to tap out to recast it. Activate this Homeward Path. Get back our Stonehewer Giant. It doesn't have haste. How do we get it haste? We need to give it haste. We can play the Helm of the Host. The Helm of the Host will free equip, make a second Stonehewer Giant, but then we don't have enough. Oh, I gotta put a haste equipment in this deck. Well, I guess we can't activate it anyway, but 1, 2, 3, 4. We have one extra. Does that help us at all? See, again, yeah, Inspiring is so awkward. Okay, definitely going back to Worn Power Stone, Inspiring Statuary, just not getting it done. We have Balin. Start thinking about Balin. Or we can just equip the Sunforger. I think that's what we do. Equip Sunforger, play an Arid Mesa. And if we don't have to use Sunforger, then we're going to try to get Mistveil Plains. So it's a good thing we shot the Athreos, because now opponent, they ran out of treasure tokens, so they're going to have to like use normal amounts of mana, which is good. They don't have anything on black market yet. Oh yeah, that's going to be Sinew and Steel. We're probably going to have to respond to that. I'm going to go ahead and crack this Arid Mesa right now and just get an untapped land. Just so like no weird timing tricks happen. Get a Plains. Sinew and Steel trigger. Let's see if they attempt it. Yeah, they're going to attempt it. Okay. We're peacing out. Teferi's time. Play the old Teferi's Protection. And we are set up. We just need to untap. Hopefully opponents don't leave loads of open mana when it comes back to our turn. Shuyun coming back into play for opponent. Also Anax back into play. Bitter Blossom token for our opponent. Maybe this deck needs a Grand Abolisher. Grand Abolisher, really good at like shutting down the sequence of things that happen to us with the route. Athreos back to play. Yep. So that's a big mana play from opponent. Took their entire turn, basically, so definitely worth the swords. Coin counter. Opponent's gonna put it on. Back on the dock side. But hopefully we're gonna get it right here. Hopefully this time is gonna be the time. That's a Hate Mirage. Oh my. Does that help? We can make a Dockside Extortionist, which gets us a lot of mana. A lot of mana. What else can we get? We can get an Anax and some random tokens. Yeah, let's Hate Mirage. Hate Mirage on the Goblin and on the Shuyun, I guess. So finally making 2 mana off of the Inspiring Statuary. Definitely switching that one out after the game. Hate Mirage has been playing really, really well. There's so many mana creatures, like just at all stages of the game. If you find it early, copy a Dockside, Burnished Heart, Solemn Simulacrum, any of that stuff. Find like an Oracle Moldiah is even not the worst thing ever. In late game, you find the big stuff, copy that with Aurelia, and you're off to the races. So Dockside's going to trigger. Oh, we get 10 treasure tokens. That is absurd. All right. Let us, I guess, play this Flooded Strand. Crack this Flooded Strand. Get Misveil Plains. Play Aggravated Assault. Shu Yun will trigger. We can give it double strike. No need. Wait. If you do target creature gains double strike, yeah. Let's give our giant double strike. That's pretty crazy. So pay that. Give it double strike. Yes. Prowess. Let's go to combat. Send the giant into Tyrant. Pay the 2. Activate the giant. Get Feast and Famine. Sigarda's Aid will trigger. Stonehewer Giant will automatically attach it. Sword of Feast and Famine will trigger. Our land's on tap. It hits twice. Oh man, we can start stacking these Aggravated Assault triggers. Oh, activate only at sorcery speed. Never mind. Oh, we can play Helm of the Host. I forgot it has flash because of the Sigarda's Aid. I don't use Sigarda's Aid that much. I don't actually have one in paper because they spiked for a minute there. And, yeah. So, opponent scooping it right there, saying GG. We're going to go for game 2. Definitely pull out this Inspiring Statuary. Did not perform. So, the upside on it is, you know, you can cast like Aurelia late game, but it didn't play well right there at all. So, also need to get Dockside into the deck. I keep forgetting about that one. That card is pretty absurd. Fervent Champion is one I still want to see. I'm not sold on it, but Dockside seems like much better than Fervent Champion. I pulled out a lot of like staples out of this deck so far, which is like not ideal, but I'm trying to test different things and get a look at some other stuff. But God Pharaoh Statue, also a new one. Pretty ridiculous card. What is a coming out? I suppose I can live without Silverblade Paladin for a moment. We know what it does. It gives things double strike. We have double strike here, double strike there, and welcome back, everyone. Playing some Aurelia the War Leader, testing out some more Theros Beyond Death era changes to the Weapons of War deck, but stuck on one land, so we're going to mulligan. Alright, we got lands and ramp. Those are good things. Godo finds us equipments. I like the sound of that. Swiftblade Vindicator, probably going to be pretty good with this Edric in play, so we're going to keep like that. Man, if they can make a Boros Edric, that would be so sweet. It's never going to happen, but we're going second in the turn order. Not too bad. Last game we were going last, so that's a Sun Titan. That's a lot of our big 6 drops right there. Pretty cool. Play the new Benalia. Get a look at what's on top. How do I feel if there's a land on top? It's an Aggravated Assault on top. You know, Aggravated Assault is one of those cards. It's good, but it's not something you want to see really until the late game, to be completely honest. There's going to be an Edric, though, so I think I'm just going to leave it right there. In all likelihood, our one shot to get in will probably be on Athreos. Hopefully they don't lay down any creatures on us early to block. And Edric lays down a 1-drop, just like you expect him to. It's got flying. Oh, Authority of the Consuls. That's so bad for Aurelia. So incredibly bad. There's that Aggravated Assault. Play the Command Tower. Get Swiftblade Vindicator. I'm going to go for this first, just in case Edric comes down. I want to have it in play and ready to go. All that sort of good stuff. We'll go for the Signet next turn. Probably Signet tap land next turn. Opponent gains a life. There's a Grenzo Havoc Raiser. Yeah, it's a cool card. It does come in tapped. Authority of the Consuls will help with the whole trying to get past opponent's blockers, at least for the time being. Cloud Sprite for opponent. Yep. No green mana yet. Really want them to hit that Edric on time. Love to get ourselves some card draw. Mystic Remora, gross. Oh, I really wanted to play the Signet too, but giving that deck card draw seems bad. Oh no, opponent's gonna make us all sacrifice a creature. Blah. Kaya's Guile again. Yep, Swiftblade Vindicator down. I was hoping to keep that one. Well, definitely onto the Signet then. Signet tap land this turn, I think. Start probably looking, Arch of Oriska, not what I was looking for. Play the Emeria. Cast the Signet. Opponent will draw with the Mystic Remora. Yep. Ancient Tomb off the top. Anax into play. Comes in tapped. Mana Crypt for the Anax player. More draw with that Mystic Remora. Mystic Remora getting wild. Bloodthirsty Blade. Ugh. Opponent made our life total pretty low in the last game with Bloodthirsty Blade. Just putting it on something. We all fed the fish badly. So incredibly badly. There's a Priest of Titania. Gross. Opponent's going to swing into us for 1. Yep. Heliod's Intervention? Wouldn't be awful. Dockside Extortionist would also be good. Chromatic Lantern for opponent, continuing to feed the fish. Well, if everyone else is going to feed the fish, we might as well too. There's a Mask of Memory. That's actually a better play than Aggravated Assault. We can play both. Yeah, we can play both. All right. Drop the mountain. Play Mask of Memory. Feed the fish. Play Aggravated Assault. Feed the fish. Not that I want to lose Godo or Sun Titan, but someone should, like, wheel and get rid of all the cards they've been drawn for the Edric. Bloodthirsty Blade onto this Spirit over there. Swiftfoot Boots. Yep, feed the fish. Interesting. I actually cut Myriad Landscape from the deck. It's going to be a Swords on the Anax. Anax down. Opponent continuing to draw cards up to 12 cards in hand. I wish we could find a fetch land, honestly. Swiftblade Vindicator's okay for Sun Titan, but it's not, like, insane. Opponent lets the fish go. Yep, it did its job. Plays a land. Casts their commander. Comes in tapped. Gonna swing 1 into us, 1 into opponent. Yep. Gotta worry about, like, free counters. Could be a problem. Tyrant starting to get up into, like, board wipe territory mana-wise. Edric triggers twice. Opponent has 14 cards in hand. Flying Men. Comes in tapped. Opponent gains life. And opponent has max hand size, so they have to discard a bunch of stuff. Time Twister lets that go. Couple lands. More lands. Delay. Yep, they've got counters. I know how that deck works. And a land. Wouldn't be surprised to see Force of Will, Pact of Negation, that kind of stuff. Opponent drops down a Maze of It. That's so incredibly bad for our deck. Spirit into opponent. Oh, you know what we can do? Edric's in play, so I think we're just on cast Aurelia this turn. And try to draw 2. Ooh, there's a Maze of It, though. Maze of It can add mana. Ooh, they tap the Maze of It for mana. Nice. And play a Planar Cleansing. Well, there's the Boros Charm that we needed for that Planar Cleansing. But slows everyone down. Now Sun Titan, more of a reasonable play, but sadly we don't have much going on right here. We need to draw another land. Oh, this is frustrating. Why can't... Well, we need City's Blessing. We don't even have City's Blessing. Alright, so losing all of our cool stuff. Pass. Anax back to play. Jace's Phantasm into play, yep. Does get rid of the Authority of the Consoles. Oh, the opponent had Authority of the Consoles, so our Aurelia play would not have worked, and we would have found out in the worst possible way. Opponent's going to regrowth... Is that Flying Men? Really? Of all the cards? Apparently just wants creatures. Gets themselves a Flying Men. Findorn Elves. Down to 4 cards in hand. Opponent appears to have stalled. Temple of Triumph, tap land. Awkward. Savine's Reclamation is a cool card. We'll keep that on top. Lightning Greaves for opponent. Equip the Greaves onto the Anax. Swings into the Edric. Yep. Arch of Oriska is actually a new one that I'm trying out. Mostly in there for the weird untap you get with Feast and Famine when you're attacking twice. You don't really have anything to do. Sylvan Safekeeper. Yeah, that's a good one. Comes Cloudfin Raptor. Here comes Edric into play. Edric is incredibly exposed to a board wipe right now. It's probably not going to be from us, though. Actually, it's almost certainly not going to be from us. Unfortunately, this Cloudfin Raptor has flying. Ooh, opponent mazes the Jace's Phantasm. Nice. So opponent will get 1 less draw right there. Edric will trigger once. Opponent plays the land. I've been thinking about what our best line of play is. If opponent wants to maze, then Aurelia doesn't look amazing, but if they don't, we get to draw. So if opponent has a board wipe, they play it right there. Because they didn't, I don't think they have it, which means I think it's Sun Titan time. And then next turn we can cast Aurelia, and then potentially attack twice with Sun Titan and get back all of our stuff. Sun Titan get Mask of Memory. Grab the reins. Opponent's going to borrow our Sun Titan. As long as they don't sacrifice it, that's fine. Also prefer they didn't attack us with it. Opponent going to send both into the Edric. Sure. Gets back there Grenzo, probably looking for a little card draw. Opponent doesn't block. Wow. Grenzo triggers twice. He's going to goad one and exile the other. Goad is really underrated. Goad's the Edric. Exile the land. Not helpful for them. Sun Titan comes back. Oh, that's a Beastmaster Ascension. Oh, there's going to be a lot of damage. They can probably kill a player. Oh, they're on 6. Whew. So we're not dead just yet. Beastmaster Ascension is going to get 6 counters on it. Opponent's going to maze the Edric. Problem is we really need the card draw from Edric. Kind of hoping for a fetch land off the top. That would actually be the best thing, I think. That one has flying. That one has flying. This one does not have flying. We can block that one. Oh, they're only attacking us with flyers. Okay. Edric triggers 5 times. Ugh. Edric decks. Wingcrafter. Soul Bond, they both have flying. Temporal Trespass. Oh, really? The Delve mechanic. Gets an extra turn for blue, blue, blue. Oh, that's game. Yep, and there's a Triumph of the Hordes. Yep, and Beastmaster will be fully stocked. That's all we need to see there. I mean, Edric's just really strong. Kind of awkward there with the Term of the Sun Titan. We had the late stuff in our hand, and hand wasn't particularly fast. Losing the Swiftblade Vindicator hurt us a little bit. Removal at the wrong time and not the right type of removal to slow down the Edric deck is kind of what happened, and it's a powerful deck, so that thing's starting to border on like CEDH. And while our deck is good, it's not CEDH good. So, all right, so I'm going to do the full Weapons of War wrap-up. These videos were filmed about 5 weeks ago, and in that time, I've rebuilt my paper version of Weapons of War, and I parted one of my other decks to put Feast and Famine, Fire and Ice, Hammer of Nazan back into the Weapons of War deck, and it's been playing really, really well. The deck has been very, very strong, and despite the fact that I showed 2 losses in this set of games right here, now that I've kind of gotten the deck list resettled, and I've been playing it, and I'm well practiced with it again, I've been winning probably 60 to 70% of the games I've been playing with it, and it's not close when I do. Like, it's just been able to do stuff. The deck is very, very explosive. You're both generating value and getting damage in on people at the same time, so that makes it a little bit different than a lot of other value decks where it's just like sit and draw cards. It's like, okay, I'm hitting you for 10, and I'm drawing cards. So it gives you the ability to end the game pretty quickly. On average, I would say the deck is winning around turn 7, turn 8, but it's definitely possible with a good hand to get a little bit faster, but it's also important to me that you're able to interact with your opponents during that time as well. Trying to rush to a win as fast as possible isn't always a solid game plan. Someone can always be faster than you if they drop a Soul Ring or a Mana Crypt or a Mana Vault, so my goal is to be fast, but also have the ability to react to my opponents. And I'll talk about a few cards that I talked about in the video that I was testing and my general thoughts on it. Fervent Champion is one of them. I had some concerns about it, but you know what? It's been awesome. That Equip 3 ability on there is ridiculous, especially when you're talking about Sunforger. You can really just unload the removal with Sunforger. That's usually good enough to get you where you need to be in a game. Beyond the fact that it also has haste, so you just suit everything onto it and start getting in. Which leads me to, I haven't been using Balin that much, and Balin might be on the chopping block, as good as it is. I just feel like I haven't needed it, and the fact that it's 4 mana and 2 to do the thing just makes it a little bit slower than everything else with the free equip. So more to come on that. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, I've been really, really happy with Fervent Champion. I won a game where I kept a hand with only red mana and didn't find white mana until like turn 7. That's how good Fervent Champion is. Another one that I've been trying out is Hushbringer, and Hushbringer shores up some problems against green decks. Green decks usually have a lot of ETB creatures, and don't have a lot of removal that isn't ETB creatures, so Hushbringer does solve a lot of problem areas that this deck may struggle with otherwise, and also is just able to shut down a lot of different types of value plays, so Hushbringer been very, very good. Also, the flying and lifelink mean that it's just good for carrying swords. You're gaining small amounts of life back, you're getting those sword hits, and so I've been really happy with Hushbringer. 2 other cards that I'm still testing out a bit right now. We got Thalia Heretic Cathar and Treasure Nabber, and these are both in there to slow our opponents down. Treasure Nabber maybe doesn't slow them as much, but if they're off to a blazing start, it does give you the ability to catch up really quickly, which I like. So, and one thing I've thought about is adding Daretti back to the deck, because if you steal something with Treasure Nabber, then you can use Daretti to sacrifice it and get something out of your grave, which is kind of a neat little trick. More to come on that, we'll see, but I do like Daretti in these style of decks. Thalia is also very good. It does slow your opponents down a lot. The first strike means that it is very capable in combat, especially, again, if you start putting swords on it. It doesn't have evasion naturally, like some of the other ones do, but hopefully you can get the right protection colors going. But these are 2 of the more flexible slots I've got going for the creatures so far, so you could sub a lot of different things in and out of these. But right now I'm really starting to get more in on the Hate Bear lifestyle and really trying to shut down the other powerful decks. Another card I've been thinking about is Hokori. Since I do like using Winter Orb, Hokori is another Winter Orb, so we'll see. We'll see how testing goes on that. Tome of Legends has been pretty good. I'm very happy with it. It's not going to draw you a million. It's not Rishkar's expertise on Galta, but it's going to get you 2, 3, maybe 4 extra cards in a game that keep you from getting stuck, and that's really important. Because of the addition of Tome of Legends with Aurelia, you can easily put up to 3 counters on Tome of Legends a turn, and you don't have a great way to use all of that, so I've actually added Manifold Key so that we can untap the artifact, and you never know when you need to make a creature unblockable. When you're talking about trying to get those sword hits in, the ability to be unblockable is very, very good because sometimes they just have the wrong color creatures out and your swords can't get by them. So Manifold Key is a nice little role player that can do a few different things for us. Also helps us get a little bit of extra mana with Worn Power Stone, Thran Dynamo, Mana Vault, stuff like that. So it's also very nice there. Shadow Spear has actually been underperforming a little bit. It's not bad, but it hasn't been crazy either. I haven't really been in a situation where I needed to use the activated ability on Shadow Spear. I'm sure it'll come up eventually. If you play the deck enough times, there will be a point where you want it. But a lot of times I actually feel like the damage from Luxodon Warhammer is more relevant than what Shadow Spear is giving you, because the way the math works out with Aurelia, if you get +3 and double strike on Aurelia, that means that you can be lethal against a single player on that turn. Shadow Spear doesn't give you that level of damage. And even though it's super mana efficient, it hasn't been quite as good as I want it to be. So more testing to do with Shadow Spear. In my paper deck, I have actually subbed out Shadow Spear for Sword of Sinew and Steel, and I've been pretty happy with the Sinew and Steel. Just blowing up people's mana rocks, keeps them off the big turn, and does buy you a lot more time to be able to do the things that you're trying to do. So I've been happy with that. Hate Mirage continues to perform really well. Either you're copying the mana creatures early or you're getting the big stuff late. I got someone the other night by copying a creature that bounces 2 creatures and got rid of all of someone's blockers and then went to town and eliminated one player right there and then won the game on the next turn after that. So Hate Mirage been really good for 4 mana. Also really good when someone steals your Aurelia, because then you can get yourself a copy of it for a turn, and you can potentially try and kill them depending on how the board is set up and that kind of stuff. So Hate Mirage continues to perform really well, and it's just been fun because it's that little bit of variance that is exciting. Like, you need your opponents to have something decent in play to want to use it, which makes it just a little bit less linear than everything else in the deck. Everything else in the deck is like, play this equipment, suit it onto this thing, hit with it, do the thing. Hate Mirage, it opens up some fun avenues, some fun variables. You get access to cards that you don't necessarily think about when you're building the decks, whether that be blue cards or green cards or whatever. So Hate Mirage been pretty cool. I'm definitely liking that one. Other than that, that's the main stuff right now. I am running just a teeny bit removal light. I've got about 4.5 board wipes. I'm using Ugin, All Is Dust, Austere Command, Blasphemous Act, and Sulphurous Blast as my board wipes. I definitely like the 2 that blow up everything except artifacts, because we're playing a ton of artifacts. I took out Hour of Revelation because of the number of artifacts that we use in this deck. And it's just a little bit too risky to be blowing up our own stuff, so that's why I've gone for All Is Dust and Ugin. These do also get rid of enchantments, which I also like. And the other thing you'll notice is that the creature count has been coming down on this deck, and that's to get all of the ramp, all of the removal, all of the swords into the deck. I would say 17 is probably about as low as you want to go, and I might be scraping just a little bit too low right there. I might need to go back up to like 18 or 19 just to make sure you always have something. We did run into a teeny bit of awkwardness in one of the games with the super low creature counts. I have absolutely no idea what I would take out. I guess God Pharaoh Statue is kind of a flexible slot, really good against combo decks, really good against value decks. If you don't need something that mean, you can just put like a Tali in there or, some other creatures. So it just depends on what you're looking to do. This deck is firmly in a place where there are more powerful cards than there are deck slots for the deck. So it really comes down to what things you want to prioritize. And once you decide what that is, really focusing in on those areas. Right now, I'm trying to do this very kind of like light hate bearish style deck where we get a nice board state and then we try to cut our opponents off from being able to do too much after that. And that's been working really well. Couple other things that I've been thinking about, trying to get a little bit more protection into the deck. Something as simple as like a Faith Shield. Protect your creature or your equipment from some piece of spot removal one time. For 1 mana, seems really good. Trying to get the right level of card draw in the deck. Tome of Legends has been decent. You could still use Rogue's Gloves, is not terrible. Prophetic Flame Speaker and Tectonic Giant, both reasonable answers and probably stuff that I would look at if you don't have access to a Fire and Ice. But like I said, there are more good things than there are available deck slots in the deck. So you want to make sure you're prioritizing the things that you really need and the things that'll fit your game plan. One thing I want to try to do with this deck is kind of my next step is getting a little bit more removal back into the deck, especially in the form of like creature-based removal. Maybe it's something like a Glorybringer where it's both an attacker and does a little bit of damage. Honestly, Flametongue Kavu has been on my mind. Like, Flametongue Kavu is just a decent card. There are a lot of value creatures, a lot of commanders that you need to get rid of that have 4 toughness or less, and is a nice little thing. Intrepid Hero is another one I'm looking to test out. It's going to be really good against the green decks. Other big creatures, Atraxa is notoriously a problem for this deck. Being able to remove Atraxa repeatedly seems like a good place to be. So lots of different ways to focus this deck depending on how fast or slow you want it to be. Oh, that reminds me one thing. Burnished Heart, Solemn Simulacrum, not in the deck currently. And that's only because I have this focus to go super fast, and I have access to a Mana Crypt and a Mana Vault in this deck. If you don't have either of these, definitely bring back your Burnished Heart, your Solemn Simulacrum. If you're not planning to try and win the game in like 6 or 7 turns, I would bring those back in anyway. They're just great value creatures. They will help you win more games. But right now, I've got this thing tuned to be really low to the ground and very quick. So if you're expecting your game just to go a little bit longer, if you're expecting opponents to have a lot of removal, then I would still go for Burnished Heart, Solemn Simulacrum. They're just great cards. They do a lot of good things. So anyway, so those are a lot of the changes that I've been working on in the deck. Be sure to check out the updated Tapped Out link right here. I've done a whole new write-up on the deck. We've got the additions, cards that I've removed. I provide some reasoning why certain cards are in and certain cards are out. Talk about a lot of the things that I've been testing. Got cards that I want to test or add right there. Lots of cool stuff. Ugin the Ineffable has been pretty high on my radar. So yeah, make sure you check out the updated Tapped Out page. Like I said, the deck's been playing really, really well. If you don't have some of the more expensive stuff, make sure you keep the mana ramp and ability to produce mana very high in the deck. Make sure you don't, if you're cutting Mana Crypt, make sure you're putting mana ramp back in that slot. If you don't have a Tithe, make sure you're putting something like a Gift of Estate, something that deals with mana production back into that slot. Solemn Simulacrum, Burnished Heart, all that good stuff. Anyway, yeah, like I said, this deck has been playing really, really well recently, so hope you guys enjoyed the videos. As always, feel free to comment, like, or subscribe. Thank you for watching.